What's going on, guys? So we are still out here at Living Vehicle headquarters, showroom. I'm not sure really what you want to call it, but this is their corporate location in Santa Barbara, California. We got beautiful birds everywhere. We have an absolutely amazing climate. This is insane considering how hot it is everywhere else. Got mountains in the back over there. Definitely see why people would want to live out here. That said, I got Matt with me. So Matt is one of the co-founders. It's a husband and wife company, and he's the husband and of Living Vehicle. And you want to take a moment and kind of introduce what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, sure, JD. So Living Vehicle is a very high-end luxury travel trailer, all electric, and it's designed to be powered by the sun. So we founded the company on the belief that you can get out there, and when you get out into nature, you want to stay there. And what better not to have to go back and then replenish with resources or fill up your gas tank or run that generator. Use natural resources like the sun to power a massive energy system so you can run every single piece of electronic equipment on board in the best, most luxurious way possible.
Yep, so you can pretty much be off-grid completely, aside from possibly needing to empty out your tanks occasionally, but there's technology coming to help even address that.
There is.
And then we'll even talk about another piece of technology to help you get water from the air.
Yes,
that's really cool.
Water generation. We'll talk about that next.
So talk about ultimate off-grid, but part of this entire process requires that you have the power to power the things that are important to you, because he said this is a high-end luxury trailer. Now, luxury means you have amenities to glamp, not necessarily camp, but glamp. You have the ability to sustain yourself in an area and still use all of those luxury amenities, because what's the point of having them if you don't have any power to power them?
Yeah, and it's not even glamping. This is living. So Living Vehicle, by definition, is designed to be a vessel for life, to live your best life no matter where you are, because LV is fundamentally designed as a home. So we create every space with a Living Vehicle to be used full-time living, winter, summer, all season capable, to live in it full-time.
Yeah, and when you say 4 seasons and full-time, you know, you see a lot of RVs out there that say we're full-time rated, we do all this, but the reality of this is most of your buyers, correct me if I'm wrong, live in their unit permanently.
They do. We have a lot of customers that have some land and completely disconnected. They're off-grid, perpetually generating power. And the foundation of the entire LV platform is to have continuous resource generation. That's complete independence, is where you don't ever need to plug in. Mind you, I'm not living in a fantasy world. We're marching towards all electric, but we still rely on backup power sources. So every LV comes equipped with backup fuel sources, propane generation. You know, you can leverage the power from the tow vehicle, so you can take the engine compartment, put a high voltage alternator in there, draw power back to charge your energy system. But first and foremost, we have a massive battery bank that goes all the way up to 72 kilowatt hours on the latest model, and that is perpetually powered from the sun. So on top of the unit, we have solar awnings. That's what's right here. So this very heavy duty, this extends out 4 feet on either side of the unit. This is completely end-to-end covered with monocrystalline solar panels by SunPower.
Yep, and then you also have solar panels on top of the unit here as well.
On the roof. So it's like a dual level system to where we wanted more solar than the roof could contain, and we extended that onto the awnings. Now, we put as much of the equipment off the roof and into the basement as possible. One of the innovations on the LV is a very efficient air conditioning and heat system, which goes down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. What that does is it's a dual zone mini split system, so you have 240 volts running all electric heat and cooling in 2 different areas of the unit.
Yep. So before we dive into the componentry and what you're able to power with it, I want to talk a little bit about cost. If you go to Living Vehicle website, you'll see that these are not inexpensive units. They will probably, I'm going to say that this is going to probably rival any RV you've ever seen in terms of price. So this is definitely going to be more comparable in price to something like a Prevost or something like maybe a high-end Integra or a high-end Tiffin. This is in its category of conventionally towed and even gooseneck towed, the most premium of the premium. And I would venture to say, you know, people are going to start putting their favorite brands in the comment section. How is this compared to Lux? How is this compared to New Horizon? How is this compared to this brand? You can't compare them.
Right.
Totally different construction, totally different manufacturing process, totally different build quality. Now, I'm not saying any of those are bad. They're great for who they're designed to compete against. But when it comes to this, I would like to say this is like the Prevost of the Class A world, but it's not even that, because Prevost is still mainly wood cabinetry.
It's built of the same components, right? This is a whole different level where we went from the ground up. We said, what's the ultimate mobile dwelling, which is purpose-built for on the road use,
Yep.
full time, off grid, this was the solution.
And we have videos that have already posted, so go check those out talking about why living vehicle. The thing you're going to see here today is going to be a big why living vehicle, representation here, because whenever you look at what they've done here, this infrastructure, what they've built in underneath, you're talking about roughly $100,000 worth of equipment, just the equipment, not including labor, not including if you were going to put this on like your own RV. You're talking about enough solar, enough equipment, enough componentry, and you'll see it here in a second. You're just seeing part of the solar. Remember, there's two of these, and then there's solar on top of the unit. That roughly, right, about $100,000 worth of equipment?
About 100 grand worth of retail equipment, and that's the entire energy system. So batteries, inverters, charge controllers, all the energy infrastructure, the remote monitoring systems, all of that user interface so you can control that wherever you are. It's extensive.
Yep, and you all, before doing this, renovated and retrofitted RVs.
Oh, yeah,
right?
RVs, buses, and vans. We did over 400 of these, and I started a company myself, just one-man shop that grew to a 30-person team, and we kind of became the foremost renovation and upfitting company in the nation. Probably touched over 300 Airstreams. That was our specialty. So I really got a taste of what was possible with that existing infrastructure.
Yep. And your education?
I'm an architect, so I'm a licensed architect in the state of California with a bachelor's degree in architecture, and so I leveraged all that knowledge into the awareness of what's possible in a mobile dwelling.
Yep, so this is going to be the most important aspect, because people need to understand, again, if we're talking $100,000 worth of just equipment, not installation, not labor, not engineering and fabrication, all of this stuff, just 100 grand worth of equipment, if somebody pulled in here with a school bus,
sure,
and they wanted to put this...
we did school buses before.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If they wanted to put this exact system that you have on this trailer, and they said, what's going to be the total cost out the door, labor and equipment, what would a rough quote be, a realistic rough quote be for someone who wanted to do that?
The equipment, about 100 grand, you could add another 25, 30 grand to install that. Depends on the complexity of where you're putting stuff, how you got to wire stuff. But, it's not cheap stuff. We use the most high-end stuff. It's all marine grade. By the way, everything we use is consumer products. We designed this for a reason, because this unit is designed to last a lifetime, and that's why we didn't put a motor on it, because motors go out of date, they rack up miles, and then eventually stop working. This unit, you can replace the equipment. The solar panels have a lifespan of 10 to 15 years, and you can replace those. You can upgrade stuff as time marches on, and we designed that with conduit and purpose built so you can leverage the future of technology with the foundation of a living vehicle.
Yep, and here's, before we move inside and we start showing you the magic, the cost of the equipment alone on this unit cost as much as a brand new F450 limited pickup truck.
Yep.
So just think about it that way. That's not even including the actual RV itself. That's just the technology, the solar and the battery. So when you watch this video, before you start thinking, man, these things are super, super expensive, they are, but there's a reason why. And to try to fabricate something like this yourself is, I would say, unless you've done this extensively, like you've done aircraft fabrication or you've done something extensively for a long period of time, I don't feasibly see a way of saving money by doing it yourself. And we'll do a whole video on that.
Sure.
So that's going to be its own topic. But anyways, I digress. Show me the tech.
Sure. So you already took a look at the roof. I mean, this all starts from the sun, because the sun is the primary power source. We have backup power. We have propane generators. We have leveraging the truck compartment with the alternator. The primary source of power is the dual solar awning. That's a 48-inch, 4-foot plane that extends out. You push a button, it comes out on each side with these actuators.
It's working really well too.
And it shades. It's a solar awning. It's designed to shade the windows and this great 8-foot patio slider. As you come in, we leverage some tech or some influence from the marine world, where below the raised floor, this is kind of an access hatch in the middle of the living and kitchen area. This is what I would equate to a bilge. So down below that raised floor, we have all of our equipment. So this is what allows us to be 4-season capable. One of the many things it does. It's a holistic system. So underneath here, this is a service hatch. You typically wouldn't open or store anything in here if you were using the unit kind of on a just day-to-day basis. But
you guys are going to be blown away by this.
So this is the access panel to our basement. So this is half of the access panel. I'll go ahead on this other side and open this up. Now this is this is just below the highest end system that we have to offer on the LV. So this is, I believe, 60 kilowatt hour energy system, and I can step down here and take a seat to show you what's going on. These are all lithium batteries. This is from a company in the Netherlands, extremely high-end, lightweight for the energy density, very safe. You know, these products will not add to fire. They are not kind of destructive by nature. There's a safe energy chemistry of lithium phosphate, and then there's dangerous energy chemistry that's much more complex, and you know, you don't get a lot more value from it. So great energy pack. This is the foundation. So we pull all the energy down from the solar, we create and store it inside these battery packs. Of course, all of this comes from the component. I mean, look at the size of these wires, these gauges. You can just see how much power is flowing from this system. These controllers here, what I love about this is a system that is all fed intelligently into a source. It's an energy power and management system to where you have visibility on everything here remotely. All of this talks together, and all of this allows you to do the one thing that sets this unit apart, and that is to run every piece of electronic equipment, everything on board, off-grid from the energy system.
Forever.
Forever, perpetual.
Yeah, that's the key.
That's the key, right, that is the key.
So that's the part that people typically don't understand about solar is you can have an extravagant $20,000 solar system on your fifth wheel or on your trailer, but you won't run everything. You'll still have to power manage what you run, whether it's your air conditioners, which will bleed most of your power off or drain most of your capacity, whether it's your TV, whether it's your microwave. They'll drain your battery system quicker than it can replenish. And in some cases, you can put a big enough solar system on your RV, and if you manage that power, you don't have to worry about it. But to have it engineered as the fundamental basis behind the system from the beginning, that's the key.
Yeah, and that allows you, because it's not just the energy system that powers everything. We purpose spec every single piece of equipment on here to be as efficient as possible, so you're getting the biggest bang for your buck in every aspect of what you're trying to accomplish. For example, look at that mini split AC air handler right there. That is a 18,000 BTU SEER 21 LG unit. It's a 240 volt system. It is extremely efficient.
You got two units.
It's two different zones. And so this is a 240 power, and that's what this is running. This has 3 inverters. So when you talk about a provision of power standpoint, you're running 18 kilowatts, 18,000 watts of power at any given time. Now, what you can do with that, I mean, you say that's too much. I mean, how much? I'm going to run my entire AC system, which I think we're running right now, both AC units. We're probably pulling about 1,200 watts. What are you going to do with that other 17,000 watts? You know, you've got a lot of surplus there. See, that's you can blow dry, you can plug in stuff. Everything's powered.
Wait. Have 8 blow dryers on at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Well, actually, what 1,000 watt blow dryer, 18 blow dryers.
Yeah.
You can charge electric vehicles. So we have a level 2 charging port integrated with this, so you can charge a companion EV. You can charge electric bikes. Go ahead.
So let's say somebody has a Tesla with them.
Yep.
Or a Ford Lightning. That's more appropriate to my channel.
Yep.
Could this system completely charge up a dead Ford Lightning and still have capacity left before having the need to regenerate more capacity?
Now, the highest end system we have here is a 72 kilowatt hour battery bank. So Ford Lightning is going to be above that. I mean, it's going to be in the 100, 200. I don't exactly know what the Ford Lightning is. That product cannot tow this because this is heavier than that offers. That's effectively a half-ton tow vehicle. Yeah. This is a heavy-duty product offering. But the power that's generating, this is a 4,400 watt solar array up to 6,000 watts. So you're pulling and constantly feeding back in. So during an 8-hour summer day, you're pulling 6 times 8, 48, 50,000 watts of solar. You're going to have it come down. Maybe 40,000 watts of solar coming into the system, which that's a surplus. Yep. So if you're using less than you're creating, what are you going to do with that extra? You could feed that into EVs. And so from a day-to-day regular basis, we do have customers where you have a unit off-site, off-grid, and you're charging an electric vehicle, a companion vehicle, for local use, that kind of stuff. And go ahead.
No.
And that is our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is to continue marching down the road of electrification to make an all-electric vehicle, all-electric living vehicle that can power the very tow vehicle that's in the front.
Basically, like your home. It's you never worry about turning on your microwave or turning on a TV and air conditioner in your home.
Right.
If you get an EV, yeah, sure, your power bill is going to go up, but if you plug in your EV at your home, you never worry about, is it going to be enough? And that's what you're trying to do here.
And that's another great thing. Living Vehicle is also a backup power source for your home. So say you do have a primary residence, and instead of having a backup generator, you can leverage that 240 volt power port as a backup for your primary residence. So you can backfeed power into your home in an emergency.
That is actually really cool. I didn't think about that. So I think the next best thing to look at here is we'll close all this up.
Yep.
And then let's go take a look at your actual power management panel.
Yeah, let's go take a look.
It's a nice sunny day outside. It'd be interesting to see how much power we're feeding into this system. And considering they don't, this is a cool thing about this dealership slash manufacturer, or manufacturer slash dealership, is you don't see 50 amp connections anywhere in the parking lot.
You don't. Right.
Because they're all being powered by the sun.
This unit has never been plugged in. You know, well, let's go take a look at what the system's running.
But you do have redundancy with a 50 amp connection.
You do.
If you want
yes,
it.
Of course. Yeah. So we have multiple ways to run energy into here. Okay. So this unit's at 60%. This just came out of storage. Actually, we just received this from the manufacturer yesterday. So it just came off, and now this is generating from the sun from the trip. We're running just under 3,000 watts of solar coming into the system. That power is coming over to the battery bank. We're charging at a rate of about 2,300 watts of power right now. And that's coming up to the inverter, which is running line 1 and line 2. I believe both air conditioners are running, and so you have 321 watts of power coming out. Now, it's a nice day. They're not running very heavy right now, and that's the nice thing about these mini splits is they aren't just on or off. Like, you know, we used to have a Coleman ducted system with 2 ACs up here. Those things would pull about 1,500 watts each, whether it was on or off, as long as the air conditioner was on. Those ACs are running right now.
They are, yeah.
That allows so much more efficiency, because when you're not just in cooling, you know, so that's cooling, it does the same thing in heat. So if you go down and it gets, you know, less efficient, it draws more power as it gets cooler and it pumps up the demand, but that's dynamic. So that power savings to this 240 volt dual zone mini split system is just one of the many examples that enables that perpetual off-grid use.
Yep. And what's really cool about this system as well is, just like your home AC system, because this is essentially a residential AC system, it's set up in a way that is super quiet, super efficient. But as he's saying, even yesterday we had both units running when it was actually a little warm in here because it had been locked up for the trip, and it got here, they opened it up, and we were at like 1,500 watts AC load, but it was still generating more power than the system was using at its full load, its full cooling capability, and it still had plenty of excess to power everything in here without actually draining the batteries.
Right.
We could have ran the microwave, we could have ran all sorts of things in here, and we'd still be getting more power coming in than was going out.
Right.
Which is really nice.
You know, that's what allows you to power off grid with planned redundancy, planned excess capacity, because when you're off grid, you want to make sure you have more than you need. And, you know, independence and that freedom and knowing that you're going to be able to do what you need to do is having more than you think you need, and that's always planning for success.
Yep. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is we're going to hop out of this unit and look at another one, because they put this really cool kind of transparent glass door covering the breakers, and I want to show people what that actually looks like in execution. So let's head over there. Okay, so lead the way, because this is pretty dang impressive what they've done here. Okay, show me what we're looking at.
So this is our latest model. This is the new energy, the latest energy system. You know, same 7-inch screen. You know, this is a slightly smaller unit. This is a 24-foot HD platform. But what I wanted to show is, in addition to this, we believe in leveraging marine grade quality with all of our breaker and kind of systems reset management. And this is you find this in most marine environments where you want to know what's running, what's not. And so both of our 24 and 12 volt systems, it's all on breakers. So our solar array, all this top here, and then you have your 12 volt 24. You know if something's on, you know if something's off. And if something gets tripped for some reason, you know, the worst thing is to have it, like you have fuses inside a lot of these units. Fuses, it's just the little blade fuses, that's standard tech, which the industry uses a lot of. I run out of those things all the time. You're running something, you'll blow a fuse, and then you just don't have a fuse and you can't run that thing anymore. I mean, what's easier than that? And to know that if you're not going to be using something, you could turn that off, that light's off, you know you're not drawing power on that.
It's just a better way of doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's very visible, very easy to see. And if something gets shut off, you're looking at one thing, you're not hunting it down, and it's right here in a very, very easy to understand. And you integrated this in such a clean way as well that it doesn't look like an afterthought.
Yeah,
it looks purpose.
Exactly. And you know, we really love doing things great, especially when you don't see them. One of the things that we build Living Vehicle by is kind of the concept that we want to design this for the future so that when you want to put in aftermarket parts, you want to add stuff yourself, or you want to upgrade your infrastructure to bigger and better stuff as the future marches forward, we allow you that capacity. We give you spare breakers. This is going to be a custom install for a customer. We're under no belief that this system, the energy system, is going to stand the test of time, because technology moves so quickly. You know, we'll have solid state batteries here pretty soon. Everything we put in here is consumer grade to the highest quality possible. And we're gonna, we run conduit back and forth. The basement runs full front to back, so you can install new equipment as we go into the future, because this unit is designed and built to last a lifetime.
Yep, very cool. And you can see the mini split air handler in here, and then there's also one in this unit in the back, and it feeds you all the information that you need, very clear, concise format. You can see exactly what's coming in through solar panels, how much you're actually pulling off of the system, where your battery bank's currently at. It's just phenomenal.
And this unit allows you visibility wherever you are. We have integrated GPS and LTE 5G connectivity, and we pay for the subscription. It's a SIM card that gets installed there, and you have visibility on your phone or tablet or computer, wherever you are. You can see what is happening here. You can turn on your generator if equipped. You can manage your system completely remote, no matter where you are, and that's just a standard feature of LV.
And you also mentioned a service yesterday when we were talking about if your batteries drop to a certain level, you actually reach out proactively to your customers and call them.
Right, so proactive education and proactive problem solving before it becomes a problem. So, during that initial phase, a lot of customers are new to the system. We have techs, our energy installation professionals, regularly monitor systems. So if there's something that doesn't look right or there's an alarm, we have stuff triggered so that we get notified before a customer will even know that there's a problem.
Oh, that is crazy. So yeah, that's a lot of tech. And what's interesting is, to the do-it-yourself folks, I'm sure there's somebody watching the channel who could do it themselves, who could put something like this in themselves.
Absolutely.
But 99.99999% of people can't.
Yeah.
And to even approach this as something that's a DIY project, you have to have significant education in how this works, what you're trying to accomplish, but more importantly, how to integrate systems.
Well, also to do it safe, because the systems that we've engineered, we've taken years of not only professional experience from those in the battery and energy industry, and then we've taken technicians that had to learn from not just marine understanding of installing these types of systems, but like the RV industry is just so far behind when it comes to this type of tech. But it's also learning by doing and understanding how the user interacts with this to make sure that where we're putting the systems and how we're putting stuff together, so that the type of connectors and the cables and all that, like we've gone through all of the trial and error in the many, many years of installing systems to make sure that what we have now is tried and true and tested.
Yep. And one last perspective before we wrap the video up. The technology that you see in this RV, just the tech, and I'm not talking about all the tech, I'm just talking about what's related to power management, solar, batteries, cost more or almost as much as an entire Palomino Pause. Think about it that way. And a Palomino Pause has a not small solar charging system with it. It's a not small system. It's got panels, it's got Victron this, it's got Go Power that. It's a big system. But the system that these folks build into these RVs are designed to run this entire unit off-grid permanently. You should never have to reel out your 50 amp cable with this.
Right, the 50 amp cable is effectively a backup power source.
Yep. And then you also have propane, and then you also have a generator.
Right, and all of it, and the beautiful thing about Living Vehicle is we're not going to force all this stuff on you. If that's not what you want, you don't need all that capacity or capability, you don't need the ultra high-end unit, you can get a smaller energy system. You can get a more base trim level to where you don't have as much equipment that you're going to run off-grid, because maybe you don't need to use it that way. Maybe you want to use in a Living Vehicle as a guest house, or put it as your, is a primary or secondary residence to where
maybe
you don't
have power out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe
right.
you
or
have
you
50
have
amp connection.
Right, and you can use that so you can get one of the more entry-level trims that doesn't have that massive energy system. So there's a lot of ability to pick and choose because everything here is designed off of a custom platform.
But the structure itself is going to be the same.
Absolutely.
Yep, so you're still getting the same level of quality regardless. It's not like a decontented, stripped down perspective from a quality or materials perspective. You're just getting less electronics if that's not what you need. And that makes a lot of sense because you may have a slip, you may have a spot at a lake that already has power and you don't need such an extreme power, but you sure want it in the event there's an outage or if you just don't want to have such a high power bill.
Right.
Right? Very, very cool. I appreciate it. This is probably one of the most anticipated videos because people really want to see what's going on up there. Anyways, now's a great time to subscribe to the channel if you haven't had a chance. Please give me a thumbs up and we're going to shoot some more content out here and we're going to get to the tours pretty soon. Talk to you soon.